It is with fond memories that we gather here together to celebrate the loss of a friend, the loss of a companion for many months. And with that being said, what I'm talking about, of course, is the loss of an account. Levi and I, of course, have talked over the past year here, or just over a year, about times where we're struggling or we blow an account. And today is one of those days. Levi, as he's alluded to over the past couple months, has just had some of the worst luck since his losing 30 trades in a row or 40 trades in a row when he first started trading. And so we've got Levi on today to talk about it. Fortunately, he's a good spirit, so I think that's because his wife just bought him this awesome neon sign that is our podcast logo in like a neon sign. It is absolutely incredible. And how can you not feel good looking at that sign? Levi, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. I my wife got me a really dope neon like logo of our podcast, which is so dope. Got that today. But yeah, on Friday, I blew my account. Well, I had three funded accounts that I trade in parallel, I copy trade. And the last couple of weeks, well, the last few months have been great. The last few weeks have been awful. We've talked about it in a couple podcasts before, but yeah, just had a kind of cataclysmic fall. Nothing like no big, rule breaks. I didn't move my stop loss further away. I didn't, break any rules and have like kind of go crazy and take a bunch of losses in the same day. It was just over the course of a couple weeks, just kind of hit my max loss every day over and over and over again, to the point where it stretched the realms of bad luck, to the point like it's very clear something went wrong. And so we can talk about that a little bit, but yeah, I'm a very both you and I are very optimistic. I might be more optimistic than you than you. So I typically take news like this in stride. It is what it is. Here's the deal. If you are a trader, you're going to have moments like this, right? So it's going to happen. So steel yourself, right? So I guess I wanted to talk to Dave, talk to me, I guess, but also talk to all the other traders out there struggling and otherwise, about how to take advantage of it, because you are going to have these times. You're going to have weeks where you just do awfully. So I guess I wanted to talk about the best way to take advantage of it and not let it go to waste. Because goodness, you know, God forbid you waste such an amazing learning opportunity and sort of have to go through it all again.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point there about the learning potential of this kind of situation, right? Because trading is all about psychology. And as we've said, the only way you can practice trading while being in drawdown, trading while, being way up on an account, trading any of these things, the only way you can practice those things is actually by going through them. But that also means that you have to go through them, let's be honest, it most usually multiple times in order to actually learn how to deal with that.
Yeah, it you have to kind of look. The hope is, well, here's the goal. You're going to take step backwards, but you want to be going in the trading vernacular. You want higher highs and higher lows. You want each of your lows to be higher than your previous low, which mine was. You want to make sure that each time you fail, you're failing less than last time. And so yeah, you're going to have failures and you're going to have to go through them. My, I'm I think my major point here is to just make sure you really marinate. And I'm trying to do that. Marinate in your loss. And that's not to mean beat yourself up about it or, you know, get all despondent. What I mean by marinate in your loss is just to slow down and take it in and try to learn from it. It's very easy as traders um to try to just, you know, run past our losses and kind of push them behind us. I know the hardest days for me to journal are my losing days, right? When you get some big, nice, juicy winners, you want to journal that, right? It's your losers that you kind of just want to like forget about and move on. The problem is you're wasting that loss, right? There's so much interesting stuff, especially my fall here the last couple of weeks. It was clearly not bad luck. Um, and since it was clearly not bad luck, because I lost way more trades than statistically I should have, it was statistically relevant. I messed up. I made a lot of bad trades. Um, and so there's something to learn there. Like if it was my fault, if I was doing something, there's something there that I can learn. It actually parallels really closely to a bad couple weeks I had in March. Both you and I had a couple bad weeks in March.
Yep.
And so it parallels closely. And so there's a lot I can learn here. I'm spending some time on it to try to gain what I can. I know I talked with you last week. Maybe we'll have to do another deep dive and maybe pull up the stuff from March and kind of see what's because it seemed very similar. I was doing real well, very consistent for a long time, and then just boom, overnight, seems like I can't win a single trade. But that's non-random. And so that's useful. And so you don't want to waste it. Like again, it would be a tragedy if you had to do this all over again. So next time I have a bad couple of weeks, I want to be losing less than I did this week. I want to be able to recognize that it's happening and stop and take a breather and figure out what's happening before I blow an account. And so that's what I would beg newer and beginning, well, all traders. You're going to have losing times. Take advantage of them.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, Levi. And I'm right there. I'm right there with you, right? I think especially when you think about, all of the trades that you take and all of the trading experiences that you have, that it's essentially, those are learning experiences where don't take the time to also don't blame them, right? Take it personally,
Yeah.
right? Don't blame the market. Like we talked about just, I think, was it last week where we talked about, listen, sometimes it is the market. And yes, you're going to have new looks, but don't get so fixated on just blaming it that you don't really take a deep dive to learn from the experiences. Now you could learn that, okay, here's where the market was doing, and thus I need to learn from it. Sure, like some of it's on the market, but it's still on you at the end of the day. So yeah, definitely that personal use that learning experience. I think that's some great advice. And one that, let's be honest, our brains, as we've discussed a few months ago, our brains don't like pain, right?
Hmm.
Um, the main reason people use drugs and alcohol is because of pain, right? They're trying to mask pain, they're trying to cover up trauma, whatever it may be. And our brains just run from it. And trading, essentially, we're just causing pain and trauma to our brain every single day that we day trade. And our brain
Yeah.
doesn't like that. So, being able to just recognize that, I think is so important.
Yeah. So I'm trying to do that. Now, I have done kind of preliminary biopsy on my poor funded accounts. It seems this is something we've talked about a lot. It's just hard to see in the moment. Was I believe some strategy creep. Um, Made some good trades, trades that worked out really well for me in the last couple months. Then I got a lot of them. I got a lot of looks in the last couple weeks that were like it, but I think it was a bit of a bit of a stray from what I typically take. Again, it was hard to see in the moment because, like any trading, isn't black and white, right? And so, anytime you have a somewhat blurry system, and my system is breakouts and retests, but there's a lot of different breakout and retest looks. There's a lot of different stuff. And so if you're taking things that you haven't typically seen, that you haven't seen as much, you're just hurting yourself. You're taking stuff that you just don't have as much data on. And I think I had some strategy creep. You pointed this out last time we talked. I tried to address it, but I think it was also a lot of there's a psychological side that's also very hard to put a nail on. It's actually very difficult to look at your trades and go, clearly this was the problem. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's, hey, I got into a bad headspace. I lost a lot of trades in a row. I lost 4 trades in a row, and I hadn't done that for months. And I think that's probably where it started. I had a bad day, got unlucky. Then I had a second bad day, got unlucky, and all of a sudden it wasn't unlucky. My next string of losses. It's very easy to lose 4 trades in a row. That happens just by dumb luck. But then after that, if you continue losing, that seems to indicate to me I tilt a little bit in a way that I wasn't very aware of and I wasn't aware of in the moment. And the here's the point to newer traders: the only way to get better at that side is just to do it. Like you said, to just that's why we encourage people to get to live, accounts, not blowing a bunch, not spending a bunch of money, but the only way to practice is to do it. And the only way to get better at overcoming 4 losses in a row, for instance, is to trade so often that you get 4 losses in a row until you get to a point where your brain can still function optimally.